The Hellions are one of my favorite mutant teams out there. I cannot wait to count some of them down with you. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Which mutant would you like to see join the Hellions, new or old team? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Greycrow. Greycrow has probably been one of my favorite character evolutions in the comics. Originally, John Greycrow was a villain, one of Sinister's marauders, and was known by a codename so awful I cannot really speak it here. But you can look it up if you feel so inclined to see for yourself. However, he recently turned over a new leaf on Krakoa, finding camaraderie with the misfit team known as the Hellions, brought into existence at the suggestion of Mr. Sinister, but led by Psylocke, and co-led really by John himself, who acted as Kwannon's right-hand man. Greycrow's powers allow him to manipulate mechanics, which is generally why he himself often chooses to be covered in tech. And in fact, for a while I thought he was a cyborg, but he's not. He's just a guy covered in tech. And friends, before we move on to this next spot on our list, if you are loving what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, please go check out our newest channel, Most Amazing Top 10 Anime. Number 9, Beef. Beef was added to Emma Frost's Hellions team to be their new muscle after the loss of the second Thunderbird, James Proud, now known as Warpath. Beef is Buford Wilson. Of course his name is Buford. Of course it is. His mutant powers allowed him to increase his strength and his size. In increasing his size, his strength and endurance would also increase as well. We haven't really got to know Beef super well, so the limits for his power set are as of yet unknown, but he was able to get on the level of strength to rival Namorita, although he did inevitably lose to her during the Hellions battle with the New Warriors, which was way back when. Then he died for a bit, but now he's back. Beef. Number 8, Magma. Magma is Amara Akia. She was once a member of the New Mutants, who were known to be rivals of the Hellions team, but Amara developed an attraction for a member of the Hellions, Empath, which would later be revealed to be a mutual attraction between the two. Eventually, Magma would even leave the New Mutants and end up deciding to join the Hellions instead. Magma is pretty powerful despite the fact that she doesn't get a ton of love usually in the comics. She can move tectonic plates, causing short ranges of earthquakes, create lava, or of course, magma, and manipulate and generate fire. Number 7, Empath. Empath, while downplayed somewhat in the current series, has to be one of the most powerful characters to have joined the Hellions team. Actually, I feel like he was downplayed because he's so powerful, because I don't know how you have a character this powerful and then have people get stuck in scenarios. He's actually a member of the original Hellions team as well as the new Hellions, which were reformed at the behest of Mr. Sinister under the leadership of Psylocke. But he was also acting as a spy for the initial woman behind the Hellions, the original Hellions, Emma Frost. Empath is Manuel de la Rocha, and despite meeting many untimely ends during his time working on Sinister's Hellions, Empath is extremely powerful as he has the power in essence to manipulate and control others' emotions. Empath can also read emotions, being, as his name implies, an empath. He can change the level or type of influence he has over another person, turning them into a mindless zombie following his orders without question, a lovesick puppy, something more nuanced, or something in between any of these states of control. Empath can also exert his influence over more than one person at a time. Number 6, Firestar. Firestar is Angelica Jones. She was once a Hellion recruited by Emma Frost and later manipulated by her as well during her time on the team. Pretty disappointing for Angelica to find out later she greatly looked up to Emma at one point. Firestar has since proved her mettle enough to make the cut for the current X-Men team. Firestar's powers harness microwaves, which she can then emit in a fiery blast or use to cause her target to heat up and even melt, because microwaves. Firestar has also managed to use her powers in the past to disrupt psionic abilities. I also feel like microwaves don't sound that impressive, but when you think about it, microwaves are a pretty powerful thing to control. Number 5, Havok. Often seeming to rank lower when it comes to polls for everyone's favorite Summers brother, Havok is still a powerful hero and a super interesting character. Honestly, he does not get enough love. Ever the middle child, the amount of struggle and misfortune Alex Summers has seen in his life is pretty unprecedented. He never really wanted to become an X-Men, but ultimately resided to doing so because he found being in mortal peril seemed to have become something inescapable for him anyways in his daily life. I guess at that point you're kinda like, alright, fine, I guess I may as well become an X-Men. I'm already kinda in the whole scene anyways and I can't seem to get out of it. Havok was a member of the newest Hellions team that appeared in the eponymous series from 2020. Havok emits plasma bursts which radiate from him in circular waves from all around his body. He sometimes struggles to control his powers, which is why he can be seen as a danger or a loose cannon, or maybe, you know, not everybody's favorite because he's not as predictable. His plasma bursts come from cosmic energies that he can draw on and is pretty much always passively absorbing. Number 4, Kwannon, aka A. Psylocke, as she is simply known now. The only reason I'm ranking Psylocke a little lower on this list is because many of us do know how powerful she is, but there are some out there who may be less inclined to be a fan of Psylocke now due to the fact that she's 100% physically and mentally Kwannon, with zero trace of Betsy Braddock attached to the character anymore. I personally am super here for this change. Let Betsy do her own thing and let Kwannon keep the mantle of Psylocke. I think that makes sense, especially after everything she's been through. It seems fair, and it's not even really all she's due as a character in my opinion, because Kwannon, yeah, she got pretty messed up really for a while there. There's a lot more that she's owed as I see it. Psylocke was the leader of the newest Hellions team, who were brought together by Mr. Sinister, and now she's over on the Marauders, but she's still kicking butt over there. Number 3, Mr. Sinister. While Mr. Sinister is an amazing weirdo of a character that I simply think many people, I guess, don't think of much at all, he is definitely someone to be considered. Not just for the fact that he is a deeply interesting and fashionable character in the comics, but also because he is immensely powerful when it comes to his intellect, his cunning, and at times, his abilities, depending on which era of Sinister we're talking about. The really interesting thing about Sinister is that although he is a major mutant and X-Men villain who possesses powers, he's not technically a mutant. Well, he is, and he isn't. The only reason he is allowed to be on Krakoa is because Sinister was decided to be basically mutant enough to gain an invitation to join the mutant nation. Nathaniel Essex was not born a mutant, but gained powers from Apocalypse, who altered him with celestial tech on a genetic level to give him powers and in essence evolve him. From there, Sinister would actually experiment on himself, using mutant genes to turn himself into a mutant by force. No wonder Deadpool is so sad about not getting invited to Krakoa. I mean, if Sinister qualifies, I feel like we have to let people like Wade and the until recently banned and dead Madeline Pryor join the party as well. I mean, just seems silly. It seems silly that Maddie was actually banned for so long just because she was a clone. Sinister not only possesses a genius level intellect, but is also immortal and a skilled psionic both in telepathy and telekinesis. He also has super strength, speed, dexterity, and endurance as well, and at one point he displayed teleportation abilities, although it was never really fully clarified as to if this was like tech or like an actual power that he possesses. So I'm not really sure where we are with the teleportation stuff. I think he's not a teleporter though. I haven't seen him teleport in a while, unless he's doing it when I'm not looking. Number 2, Cypher. Lately, Cypher has been having the time of his life on Krakoa. His power is that he can speak, communicate, and understand all languages as a mutant. In the past, he was often dunked on because of this, with his power set being seen as weak and, you know, not super useful. Sure, he could help break down communication barriers, but how useful is that in a fight where everyone can speak the same language? Over the years, we've seen Cypher's powers expanded upon and more broadly defined to include all forms of communication. Cypher can now also talk to computers as such, and even has been shown as a skilled fighter due to fighting being like a physical language that he can understand, read, and also speak physically. However, this element of his power was seemingly kind of forgotten during the Otherworld tournament, where he was one of Krakoa's champions, shown to be struggling a bit. He actually needed some help from Magic, and Magic was like, oh boy, oh Doug, you're struggling. On Krakoa, he's the only one who can communicate with the island nation, which also makes him extremely valuable and powerful. Number 1, Orphan Maker. Orphan Maker's full name has never been revealed, and I don't think we've ever gotten a face reveal of this character either, at least not as far as I can remember. We simply know his first name, Peter. He is a mutant who typically walks hand in hand with Nanny, who acts as his caretaker and sometimes his wrangler. While having the mental state of a child despite being seemingly a fully grown man, Orphan Maker has been shown to be pretty powerful when it comes to his fighting capability. To this day, we don't know his true mutant power, but it has been alluded to that his powers are great. In fact, that is apparently why he wears a suit, to contain his powers, and why after being resurrected on Krakoa, his X gene was not activated. It's been said that his powers are like earth-shattering. That's how powerful he is. Man, I miss the Hellions. I hope we get another Hellions team again soon. Specifically having Sinister's / Psylocke's team back would be really, really awesome. I miss that team a lot. That team will always have a special place in my heart. But that's it for now. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.